Hi everyone, I'll start doing a video here on how to maintain the DeLonghi Perfectica brew unit. So what it looks like here, there's another one inside the machine. So what we want to do is first of all make sure that it's in a removable position. When you see that it's up like this, you cannot remove it. Just get a light in here so you can see it better. That's not removable in that position right there. So somebody had previously turned this machine off and unplugged it without shutting it off correctly. So don't even try to remove it. If you see that it's up like that, it's not going to work. What we need to do is we need to power it on, make sure all the trays and grounds bin and everything is closed proper as it should be. Turn the machine on, and once it's on, there may be a switch on the back. Don't forget about the switches on the back. This one doesn't have a switch on the back. I think we're going to need to edit this video and start again. Okay, we're back. We got it turned on. Turns out that I didn't have another switch turned on. Anyways, it's on now, and once I turned it on, the brew unit actually moved down. So now it's in the removable position. But just in case, all you'd have to do is just turn it on and wait for it. You'll hear it, the motor moving it from about here in the machine down to here. Once that's done, then you can open it up and see that it's reached its proper removable position, and then you can power off the machine by simply unplugging it. Always work safely. And then you can take out the tray, set that aside. Now to get this out, you hold in on both sides of the red buttons and pull forward as you're holding in on these. So that's it. There's these little clips here on the side. There's one there and one over here. So you just gotta hold them both in and pull it straight back. You can see this one's a bit dirty from not being maintained. So what we want to do is just set down a workstation over here. Okay, so I've set up a workstation here, a little bit of paper towel. This is the food grade grease that we're going to use. It comes in a big container like this, or a small tube like this, and I just got some in a jar so that it's easy to work with. And I like to take a brush, just a regular paintbrush of any kind, and you know, make sure you don't get any grease, just to clean everything out a little bit. Anything that wants to fall off will fall off. What we're going to do is we're going to remove, there's a bracket on the bottom of this. First of all, try to push it down and see if you can push it down easily. This one's a little bit hard to push down, so that's basically what's happening inside the machine. It's got to move like that, and it should move freely. Now, most of the time you can get away with just putting a bit of food grade grease in there. So you could use ordinary Q-tip like this. Get some of that grease on there. Remember, only use food grade grease. Just go around there like that, and then back and forth a few times. Already it's much more smooth already. Okay, now sometimes that's all it takes, and you don't need to do anything more than that. But if you really want to give it a good cleaning, then stay tuned and watch the rest of the video. Otherwise, you're good to go. You can just put it back in the machine, and I'll show you that step after at the end of the video, how to put it back in the machine. But if you want to do a thorough cleaning, then stay tuned. Okay, so we unscrew this part, Now this you can take to a sink with a brush and brush it really clean and get it nice and clean looking. It should look shiny just like this side. And if you hold it up to a light, you should be able to see right through it. And also here you want to clean that. And in order to get underneath there, you just have to pry open these corners a little bit. And this part will come right off. Just like that. Now notice it has to go back on the same way that it came off, so these little clips go up to the top when you put it back on. So just keep that in mind. We'll set it aside that way so we don't forget. Now this comes apart like that, and then this part you push up through and comes right out. And as you can see, it's built up a bit of dirt under there. So we're going to bring this to the sink and we're going to wash all this out. These O-rings, you can remove them very carefully. You could even replace them if you had to. If they're no good anymore, then you can replace them. I'm here at the kitchen sink now, just to give you an idea as to how I wash these things out. First of all, have a clean work area. And then get your special brushes that we use. And a small flathead screwdriver to remove those O-rings. So let's get washing. Use a little bit of regular dish soap. If you find it hard to hold like this, you can always put it down on a flat surface and brush it this way too. For this one here, I like to use this old paintbrush. Get a little bit of soap on it, and just reach down in there and kind of wash around everywhere. Get all the coffee grinds out of it. Coffee grinds usually like to rest on those edges there, so this is another good reason to have a long screwdriver around just to clean it out. Get all the coffee grinds that might have got in there out. And with any old grease that might be there. That looks good. Put it down over here on the counter. Now this one. Put some more soap on the brush. Clean this. I will very carefully use the flathead screwdriver to lift up the O-ring, pop it off, there's one. Same thing with the second one, lift it up, carefully remove it. So you're going to find all kinds of grime and dirt in here. Want to brush that out. A little bit more soap. If this brush doesn't work good for that, you can always use a brush like this. And if that doesn't work good, you always use a screwdriver like this. Get in there and clean anything out that doesn't belong there. Okay, that's good. Now the O-rings. You want to check them for any tears, any cracks. Check for flexibility, see if they're still good. These ones seem just fine. Just going to wash these by hand so I don't damage them. Okay, and that's that. See you back over at the workstation. Now that we're back at the workstation, I got everything dried off a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to put the O-rings back on first. So just carefully put those back like that. And remember earlier I said that you should be able to see through the screen. I'm just going to get a flashlight and just show you here that you can see right through it. There's nothing blocking the screen, and when you extract the espresso shot, the coffee will go right through that, no problem. Now I just want to take a moment to mention here, remember earlier in the video when this was already in there and I showed you that you could just simply push it down and put the grease around here. What happens is you're only getting the grease on the first O-ring area here. You're not getting anything from this point back lubricated really, because as this slides through, it's sealing the cylinder, and it's not going to allow the grease to get back here to this O-ring. So that's why it's really a better option, if you can, to remove it and do the job properly the first time. So get a little food grade grease here on a brush, or again you could use a Q-tip. I like to use a brush. Now when you put this back, before you put this back, you could even go one step further and put some grease on the O-rings just like this. You don't want to put too much, so keep it in mind not to overdo it. You just want to get just the right amount. Okay. Now on the back half of this, you'll see this shape. You won't see this here. You'll see it only on one side, and that matches up with the cylinder. So you want to make sure that they're both lining up when you put it back in. There you go. And then this one, it goes like that. So basically, you see the two screws, they go up to the top, and the circle, that's what this cutout is for this circle. So it fits in just like that. And then we go back to the clip, and remember I said we're going to set that down the same way we took it off so we don't get it mixed up, and try putting it on upside down. Well, if we got it mixed up, don't panic, don't worry. All you got to do is take a close look at it, and when you see those little notches there and there, and the little bit of plastic that's there, the notch got to be on the top. That's all you got to remember. So it's going in like that, right there. And the older the plastic gets, it can get brittle, so handle it with caution, because you don't want to snap it. So one side already clicked in, and the second side just clicked in there. That ain't going anywhere now. Okay, so slides very easily. The last thing we gotta do is put this one back in place. It's sliding so easy now, I gotta hold the back side up, otherwise it just pushes right on down. Then we find the screw, make sure that you got all your pieces. This is just a normal style of a screw. To avoid stripping the head of it, I'm just going to recommend to take the bit out of the drill and just do that part by hand, so that way you don't over tighten anything and break the plastic. That wouldn't be good. So there we go. Don't over tighten. And that's it. This is the little sweeper arm that sweeps the pucks off after and dumps it in the dump bin. Okay, so now we just have to return this into the unit, and I'll cut the film and be edited. Okay, so here we go. We just open the door. Let's try to get some light in there so we can see. Now, it shouldn't be too hard to line up. One thing you just want to have a quick check is make sure these two screws are tight. They're usually okay. They put thread seal on them, but occasionally I'll find a machine that comes into the workshop and it's got the screws a little bit loose, so you might want to just check those. And if that's fine, then all you have to do, well, I mean, you could get in there with a brush and clean out some more. You know, make sure everything is nice in there. If you want to go even another step further, you could get a little bit of that grease again on the end of the brush, and you'll see some threads back here, some vertical threads. You could just put a little bit of food grade grease on those vertical threads as well, because as this rides up and down, that's what controls it. And if you reach in through here, you can even see some threads. You can put a little bit of food grade grease on that too. Sometimes you'll hear a strange sound as this is moving, and that's because that didn't get any grease on it for a long time. So, okay. When we put this back, you don't really need to hold in the sides. You could if you want, but you don't have to. All you have to do is just line it up and push right in the middle till you hear it click. And that's it. That's ready for action. Put the tray back in. While you're at it, you should probably wash out all of the accessories and compartments and trays. Then close up the door and you're done. Thank you for watching the video. If you'd enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe and like and share with all your friends. If anybody that you know has one of these machines, or even the older DeLonghi models, they use the same brew unit, so please feel free to use the same procedures in cleaning that. It will work just fine. And if you have any questions, leave it in the chat below and we'll do our best to answer as soon as possible. Thank you for watching and have a great day.